Let's do a full build overview on my Time Attack Evo 9. First up, we will go over the aero package. So this is a custom splitter I built that took me about 30 hours to make over a 3-day weekend. The best part is there is 4 quick pins for each splitter rod that come out really quick. I already have them out. And then there is a lever right here and it splitters off in 30 seconds. In the front, we have the Professional Awesome splitter rod supports. On the side here is the 9 Lives Racing side mount splitter support, and that is the Professional Awesome quick disconnect mounts, and those are the Professional Awesome splitter diffusers. Currently, this splitter is built for enthusiast class, so it is 3 inches from the front lip, but when I bump up to street class, I will build one 5 inches from the front lip. For the rear wing, we have a 9 Lives Racing wing. Personally, I've been working with Johnny at 9 Lives 4 years before he even started to really take off. He was super cool to me and made me a custom hatch mount wing for my WRX Time Attack wagon. And I believe 9 Lives Racing is the best bang per buck aero you can get for your car. At 140 miles an hour, this wing can produce 400 pounds of downforce. I have 2 sets of wheels for this Evo. This set is my Borbay Type T 5 spokes, and I absolutely love them. The spec on them, they are a 17 by 9.5 plus 20, and I got these wheels on a steal on Facebook Marketplace for 800 bucks. For the second set of wheels, are you even an Evo guy if you don't have a set of RPF ones? These are my 18 by 9.5 plus 38 RPF ones in white, which are actually kind of hard to find. Currently, they are wrapped in the Eagle F1 Supercar 3s, which is a 220 treadwear tire, which was legal for enthusiast class, but if I make the bump to street, I will be bumping up to a good 200 treadwear tire. Let's get the car jacked up. For the coilovers, I have the Fortunato 510s with 10K Swift springs in the front with helper springs. For the rest of the front suspension, we have the White Line roll center kit and then adjustable front sway bar brackets with end links, a stock front sway bar. Here in the rear suspension, we got the Fortunato 510s with 12K Swift springs and helper springs. Then we also have the White Line adjustable end links and a 24mm White Line rear sway bar. For the front brakes, still running the stock Brembo's with WinMax pads and gyro disc 2-piece rotors. These ones are cooked, I need to get new discs. There's also 2-inch brake disc going to the center vanes of the rotor. In the front here, I modified the OEM oil cooler ducting to add a cup to the side of it to scoop the air to the brake ducts. Here's this one on this side. Onto the drivetrain, still running a stock 5-speed transmission. For the clutch, I am running the ACT unsprung twin disc. Last time when the car was getting tuned and it started making the sauce, the old Excetti twin disc started slipping and I needed a clutch as soon as possible. I'd reached out to my buddy Austin at SICKSTAR and we were looking for ACT clutches. There was only one twin disc available in the nation, which was this unsprung twin disc. I was a little skeptical because I've always run sprung twin disc, but after using it, the clutch pedal feel is amazing and it feels pretty like stock and the car rips. For the transfer case, I still have to finish rebuilding it, but I am doing a M Factory one-way front diff in the transfer case, replacing all the seals and cleaning it up. In the rear, we have the fully built TRE 12-plate rear diff. Now the interior is honestly pretty stock. The only things I have done to the interior is a shift knob and some gauges. So those are the Defi Advanced BF Control Unit gauges, and I love them and they're completely worth the money. And here I have an AEM AFR gauge and AEM True Boost gauge. In one of the next 2 videos, I do plan to do some weight reduction. We're going to remove everything B-pillar back out of the car. We're going to pull out the carpet. We're going to remove the sound deadening. We're going to strip the carpet of as much padding as we can and try and get some weight out of this hoss. When it comes to body modifications, it's really simple. Just has a speed element front lip, and the rear trunk is actually a base model Lancer trunk. I did not want to hack up the OEM trunk, so I just got a spare one to put the 9 Lives Racing wing on.
Onto the oiling system, I'm running the Infinite Evo oil pan that has a pressure regulator built into the side of the pan, and it is the best wet sump pan on the market for Evos currently. Paired with a Kegley Racing HLA that is in the head, and I also will be running this AccuSump to help with oiling as well.
For the PCV system, I am running a STM transmission mount catch can that I've highly modified, and turned into a closed loop system. Modifying the can from a vent to atmosphere to a closed loop system massively reduced how much buildup I have, and I was able to get the can pulling vacuum on the can at wide open throttle.
Just to show off these Defi gauges here, I have a playback feature, and as you can see on this gauge on my right is my crankcase pressure gauge, and is pulling a slight vacuum on the crankcase system as I'm wide open throttle on track. For the future setup, I'm also porting the oil drainbacks on the 4G63 head to help improve flow downward.
Now let's cover the best part, the engine and turbo setup. So for the engine here, I have built a 4G63 2.2 liter stroker, Eagle crank, Cali Enforcer rods, and CP pistons. When it comes to the cylinder head, I am doing a stage 1 port and polish on the head. For the built head goodies, got a Cosworth 272 intake cam and got a Cosworth 264 exhaust cam, GSC exhaust and intake valves, stock hydraulic lifters, and a 96-pound Kigley racing spring set with titanium retainers. I also will be picking up some adjustable cam gears, that way I can really try and dive deep and get every inch out of the cam time. For the intercooler setup, we have a 3-inch ETS front mount intercooler to 2.5-inch piping, and we're also running the ETS short route piping. For the blow-off valve, the TurboSmart Raceport blow-off valve. Also running the ETS speed density intake as well.
And a stock intake manifold.
The best part for last, let's talk about turbo setup and power numbers. So the previous setup of the Evo, this was a 20G turbo, 2-inch anti-surge, 16G titanium hot side wheel. It was paired with this TurboSmart IW75 dual port internal wastegate, powered by a Mac 4-port boost controller, a properly divided O2 housing, and the FP log manifold. This setup was a spool monster. It made full boost of 30 pounds at 3,900 RPM of 434 foot-pounds of torque. From 3,900 RPM all the way up to 7,500 RPM, it held 30 PSI of boost. It made 504 horsepower at about 6,500 RPM and just shy of 500 at redline. Now in this next setup, we're trying to make more power and spool sooner. This is an Art Gennari 57mm Frankenstein turbo he custom built for me. 4-inch inlet, 2.5-inch anti-surge, Borg Warner compressor wheel, and essentially the core of it is a Garrett 30R dual ball bearing cartridge with a Garrett exhaust wheel. Reverse rotation housing that he polished. So with everything I've done engine-wise, the 2.2 stroker, the porting and polishing, the built valve train, the cam degreeing, we're hoping to improve boost response as much as we can. I'm aiming for 600 horsepower and fully spooled between 3,500 and 4,000 RPM. Honestly, all in all, the Evo build, it's pretty simple. Bolt-on stuff that anyone can get their hands on. Some of the stuff just slightly modified to get better results for the application that I intended for. Some mods and companies I would like to work with here in the near future. I would like to get a Koyo Rad radiator, get some Buddy Club P1 front seats, a Autopower 6-point roll cage.
And lastly, I want to get my hands on the Artec Performance cast manifold, their 3.5-inch O2 housing to their 3.5-inch downpipe. Some notable podiums I've achieved in the Evo was a SCCA Pro Solo, a SCCA National Tour, and lastly,
third place, enthusiast class with a 235.805. Mr. Bailey Ipoc, Bang for Buck Racing, Mitsubishi Lancer.
I will say I've definitely had more failures than successes in my motorsports career. I'm looking to improve on that and always get faster and build a better machine and hopefully continue to chase some podiums here in the near future.
If you want to see me build this Evo into a track weapon, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos. Have a good one, y'all. Peace out.